For 3 years he practiced one English sentence, saving it like a coin he never spent. Tonight he finally says it, to a stranger from Texas. It's the worst pickup line she has ever heard. He laughs anyway. He would take any hit to keep her safe. He crossed half the world and never left. Grenade Heart. A Saigon Love Story. Episode 1.
He would take any hit to keep her safe. She crossed half the world and never left. For everyone who was ever told that love like this only happens in songs. Ho Chi Minh City. The rooftops smelled like rain that hadn't decided to fall yet. Hot concrete, frying garlic drifting up from the alley, and the sweet green smell of the river 4 streets over. Below us, District 4 buzzed the way it always did on a Saturday night, motorbikes threading the lanes like blood through a heart that never stopped beating. Up here, under 3 strings of borrowed lights and a banner that a 12-year-old had painted herself, the neighborhood had built something that looked, if you squinted, almost like a stage. I stood behind the speaker stack with my hood up and my heart going too fast, and I told myself it was just the kids. It was always just the kids. That was the rule I made when I started doing these shows 3 years ago. No pay. No promoter. No one filming for the internet. Just the children from the shelter 2 blocks down, the ones who slept on cardboard when the shelter was full, the ones who sold lottery tickets at red lights and lime at the seafood stalls, and one night a year where somebody stood up in front of them and made noise on purpose, made noise for them and told them with a beat instead of a lecture that where you come from is not the same thing as where you are going. I know because I was one of them. Not the cardboard. My mother would have died before she let that happen. But the red lights, yes. The lime, yes. The being small in a big loud city that did not slow down to ask your name. There's a thing I never tell the kids because they don't need my story as a footnote to theirs. They're busy writing their own. But you should hear it so you understand why a grown man gives up one night a year to sweat on a roof for children who can't pay him a single dong. When I was small, before the world got its hands on my family, my father used to carry me on the fuel tank of his old Honda through these exact lanes at exactly this hour, when the heat finally breaks and the whole district comes out to breathe. He would point at things and name them for me. That's Mr. Bay's shop, that's where the good Hu Chiu is, that's the temple, take off your hat. Narrating the neighborhood into me like a song I would know for the rest of my life. He believed, my father, that a boy who knew every corner of his own small place could never be truly lost anywhere in the world. I have tested his theory on 4 continents since. He was right. He is not here anymore. That is a later part of the story and I will not spend it now. But this rooftop sits 200 meters from the cart where he used to buy me sugarcane juice, and every year when I climb up here and take the microphone, some animal part of me is still 9 years old on the tank of that motorbike, being handed the map of the only world that ever felt like mine. The shelter kids in the front row have no father doing that for them. So once a year for 2 hours I do it the only way I know how, not with a motorbike but with a beat, pointing at the lanes and the lights in their own unwritten lives and naming them out loud. Yours. Yours. All of this. Yours. Fly. Quan's hand landed on my shoulder. My oldest friend, my producer, the only person alive who could make a beat out of a broken rice cooker and a phone. He was grinning like he already knew a secret. You ready? Boss Sao says if you go over 20 minutes she's cutting the power to save her electric bill. Tell Boss Sao, I said, that art has no clock. I told her art has no clock. She said art has no dinner either, so hurry up. I laughed and the laugh loosened something in my chest and Quan dropped the beat. I won't pretend I remember every word I said that night. When it's good, when it's really good, the rhyme comes up through the floor and out of you and you are more listener than author. I remember the kids in the front pushing forward. I remember little fuck, 7 years old, missing 2 teeth, doing the shoulder bounce he'd stolen from me and doing it better than me. I remember the old women in plastic chairs at the back nodding like they were at a funeral and a wedding at the same time, which is the only correct way to nod at real music. I gave them the loud ones first, the ones built for jumping, the ones where the whole rooftop becomes a single animal with 100 heads. Then the way you do I brought it down. There is a verse I only ever perform here, never at a real show, about a boy selling lime at a red light who looks up at the towers across the river and does the arithmetic of his entire future in the length of one green light. By the time I reached it, the kids had gone still and little fuck had stopped bouncing, and the old man near the back who fixes bicycles had taken off his cap and was holding it flat against his chest. The way you hold your cap at a funeral or a flag raising, or any moment when a thing you have never been able to say out loud finally gets said out loud for you. That is the whole job. That is the only reason to do any of it. You take the sentence the room has been quietly choking on its entire life and you say it on a beat so that every person in it learns they were never the only one choking.
Yeah, District 4, let me hear you! This is our home, this is where we start. Feel the bass pulsing like a heartbeat. We are the light in the dark, let's make it bright!
And I remember the last verse because the last verse was when I saw her. I had my eyes half closed the way I do and I opened them on the turn. And there at the edge of the light, past the kids, past the aunties, stood a girl who did not belong to my city. She was tall in the way foreigners are tall, in a plain white shirt gone see-through at the collar with sweat because nobody warns you about April in Saigon. Brown hair pushed back off her face. A little canvas bag across her body, holding it like she'd been warned about it holding it. And she had her phone up, not to film herself the way the tourists on Veen Street film themselves, but pointed down and out at the kids at little fuck doing my shoulder bounce, her whole face open and shining like she'd wandered into something she hadn't known she was looking for. I lost the line. 3 years, 100 shows, and I have never once lost a line. Quan's head came up. The beat kept going. And I, Fly H, the boy who wanted to fly, stood on my own stage with my mouth open and nothing in it, staring at a stranger like a fool. I found the next bar somehow. I closed strong. The kids screamed the way only kids who have too little scream for something that is theirs, and I bowed and I pointed at little fuck so they'd scream for him too, and the whole time one small stubborn part of my brain was saying, in a language I did not yet have the words for, "Don't let her leave before you know her name." I did not go to her right away. I want to be honest about that. For a few minutes I hid. There is no braver word for it, behind the speaker stack, pretending to coil a cable, watching her out of the side of my eye while the kids swarmed her the way kids swarm anything new. She crouched down to their level and she let little fuck show her the shoulder bounce slowly the way you teach a smaller kid, and then she copied it back to him badly on purpose so that he would laugh. And he laughed, and something in my chest did a thing I had no song for yet. A foreigner will usually do one of two faces with our kids. The pity face or the phone camera face. She did neither. She did the face you do with a person, not the face you do at a scene you have wandered into and want a picture of. That was the moment if you want the truth. Not the pickup line. The pickup line was just me being a coward with my mouth. The moment was watching her be gentle with a boy who had 2 missing teeth and nothing else, when she believed nobody who mattered was looking. Backstage was a plastic table behind the water tank, 2 coolers of iced tea, and Quan already unplugging things. "So," he said, not looking at me, which is how I knew exactly where this was going. "The American." "What American?" "The one who ate your last verse." He tossed me a towel. "Go say hello." "I don't know her." "That is generally why people say hello." "My English is..." I stopped. There is no good end to that sentence. My English was a box of parts that never came with instructions. I could rap in it if I'd written it down and practiced it 40 times. I could not talk in it. Talking is where you find out how poor you really are. Quan finally looked at me and the joking went out of his face just for a second, the way it does with people who have known you since you were both nothing. "Hong," he said, "my real name, the one only family in Quan use. You stand in front of 200 people and open your whole chest. And you're scared of one girl." "Yes," I said. "Obviously. Have you met 200 people? 200 people can't break your heart. One can." He grinned again, the moment over. "Then go find out if she's the one who can." I want to tell you I walked over there smooth. I did not walk over there smooth. I walked over there and got intercepted by 4 children who wanted to hang off my arms, and by Boss Sao who wanted to tell me my hair looked like a startled chicken, and by the time I got free the American girl was standing by the stairwell like she was working up to leaving, turning her phone over and over in her hand. Up close she was younger than I'd thought. My age a little less. And she had the specific tiredness of someone a long way from home who has been brave for a long time and is running low. Here is the thing about me. When I am afraid I get loud. It has saved my life and ruined my nights in roughly equal amounts. So instead of hello, instead of anything a normal frightened person might say, I planted myself in front of her, put on the face I put on for the stage and delivered, in English, the whole sentence exactly as I had once heard it in an American movie and saved like a coin in my pocket for 3 years without ever spending it. Excuse me, miss. Are you a magician? Because when I look at you, everybody else, poof, disappear. There was a silence. It was, I would like to say for the record, a long silence. Her eyebrows went up. Her mouth did something complicated. And then she laughed. A real one, surprised out of her, loud enough that 2 of the aunties turned around, and she pressed the back of her hand to her lips like she was embarrassed to be caught enjoying anything. Oh no, she said. Oh, that was terrible. Yes, I agreed with feeling because it was the only word after that I was 100% sure of.
You're the neon light in my city night.
That was so bad. Yes. Do you? She was still laughing. Do you say that to everyone? And this is where I made the choice that changed my life, though I didn't know it yet. I could have kept the mask on. I could have played the cool rapper, given her nothing true, let her walk down those stairs thinking I was just another loud boy with a line. Instead I let the mask fall because I was too tired to hold it, and she had a laugh that made lying feel expensive. No, I said, slowly, carefully, reaching for each word like stepping stones across a river. I say to nobody. First time. Practice long time. 3 year. I held up 3 fingers in case the number drowned on the way out. I want to speak English good. I have no person to practice. I gestured at the emptying rooftop, the aunties, the kids, my whole small world. Nobody here speak. So, I see you. I think, okay. Be brave. Say the movie sentence to the American girl. Practice. She had stopped laughing. She was looking at me now the way she'd looked at the kids from the edge of the light. Open, caught, like I'd handed her something she hadn't known she was looking for. So this is. She tilted her head. You hit on me. To do homework. I did not know all of those words. But I understood the shape of it, and the shape of it was correct, and it was so stupid and so true that I laughed too. Yes, I said. Homework. That, she said, is the most honest thing anyone said to me in 3 weeks. She stuck out her hand. American, direct, like men do business. Madison. I took it. Her hand was warm and there was a fading henna star on the back of it from some market somewhere. Ma, the name had too many corners. I tried again and it fell apart again, and she was smiling now, not mean, waiting. Maddie, she offered. Just Maddie. Maddie. That one fit in my mouth. Okay. Maddie. And you? Hong, I said, and watched her try it. Watched the tone slide off it the way it always slides off a Western tongue, the diacritic she couldn't hear turning my name into a flat little stone. Oh, Hong? Hong. I'm gonna get it, give me a second? Is okay. I put my hand to my chest. On the stage they'd been screaming it 20 minutes ago, so I gave her that one instead, the easy one, the one I'd built precisely so that strangers would have something to hold. Fly. They call me Fly. Fly, she repeated, and this time she got it perfect, and something about hearing my own chosen name in her accent, soft, careful, a little wondering, went straight through me like the first note of a song you're going to love before you've even heard the second. Fly, I said back like an idiot, confirming a fact she had just stated. For a second neither of us said anything else. Behind me the kids were dismantling the show, coiling the cables the wrong way, fighting over the last of the iced tea, and she watched them over my shoulder with that same open, aching look. They really love you, she said. The kids. That wasn't a concert. That was, she hunted for it, That was somebody coming back for them. I did not have the English to tell her she had just seen straight to the bottom of me in under an hour. So I gave her the small true thing instead. I was them, I said. Long time ago. Somebody, I pointed vaguely at the past, at a man I could not yet explain in her language. Somebody do this for me. One time. Change everything. So, now I do. I shrugged because it was either shrug or say far too much. Is not charity. Is just, pay the light bill. Somebody keep the light on for me. Now I keep it on. She was quiet. Then she looked down at the phone in her hands, the one she'd been filming the kids with, and I watched her make some small private decision she did not share with me, a decision I would not understand until much later, when I learned she had already, that night, stopped believing this was a trip she was only passing through. Below us the city went on, not slowing down. Somewhere a vendor called out the price of grilled squid. The rain still hadn't fallen. Maddie looked at the stairwell, then at me, then I saw her decide it, saw the small brave click of it behind her eyes. Back at me. Okay, fly, she said. Your English homework. When's your next lesson? I have replayed that sentence more times than any song I've ever written. When's your next lesson? 4 words, and the whole rest of my life hiding inside them like a beat waiting under silence. Tomorrow, I said before my fear could vote. You like eat? She laughed again. That's actually why I'm in this country. I really like to eat. Then tomorrow, I said, I show you my city. You teach me English. I teach you. I searched, came up empty in English, gave up and gave her the truth in the only currency I had plenty of. I teach you everything else. Ba Sao cut the power right then, exactly on the word everything, and the 3 strings of lights went out, and the rooftop dropped into the blue-orange glow of the city below, and in the sudden dark I heard Maddie, Madison, the American, the girl who did not belong to my city, say quietly, like she was making a note to herself she didn't mean me to hear. Yeah. Okay. Everything else.
I'm so glad you came to the show tonight.
I'd love to see you again.
And that's where we leave them for now. Next time, the morning she nearly ran, and the alley that changed her mind. But if you can't wait for the next episode, you don't have to. The whole love story is already waiting for you. The complete novel Grenade Heart, a Saigon love story, is available now on Amazon. Just search Grenade Heart, or tap the link in the description and read it all the way to the end. Subscribe so the next chapter finds you. I'll see you there.